Welcome back to another episode of All the Yarn. If this is your first time you've stumbled across my channel, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and grab your craft and sit and relax for a little bit. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. You're always welcome here. So I am Lindsay. And obviously you can find me here at All the Yarn on YouTube. You can also find me as All the Yarn on Instagram, All the Yarn Dash on Ravelry. I am the maker and dyer behind LindenWool Yarn, which you can also find on Instagram under LindenWool Yarn and on Etsy under LindenWool. So thanks guys for coming. I hope we have a lot of fun together, and let's dive into the crafting. So first up, I am going to show the same finished object from my previous episode. It's kind of cheating, but I didn't get to really show the whole thing because it hadn't been released yet. And now Brynja has released her pattern. It's called the Heather Shawl. And here it is. Look at this. It is all over brioche. This is a 2-skein project. And lovely, lovely, gorgeous brioche increases and decreases to catch some designs. There in the middle, I don't know if you guys can notice, the main color switches, like your main color switches back and front so you can highlight your other color. The back side of brioche is always pretty. Mine's kind of muddled on camera, but there goes my notes. That is my notebook of notes. It's on the floor. That's okay. I can read it. Anyway, this is, like I said, the Heather Shawl by Brynja. I used 2 skeins of Lolo Did It. The light one is her Fairy Pools, and this green is the Sassenach color. I actually used a gray to bind it off as a contrast color. It looks kind of, everything looks a little muddled on camera. In person, you can see the contrast gray a little bit better. So the Fairy Pools have pops of yellow, and so does this gray border. Kind of has those pops of yellow as well. If I were to do this again, I am still okay with my color choices. Maybe would have had them be just a little bit more contrasty to highlight that pattern because it's so pretty. Brynja has really awesome brioche shawls that she designs, and I wanted, now that it's released, again, this is called the Heather Shawl, I just wanted to make sure that I showed you guys the actual finished object. I have another finished object, and if I'm going to be honest, I actually recorded an episode 2 or 3 weeks ago. I ended up deciding I hated the whole thing. I was editing, and I thought, oh my gosh, there was just so much that I had to edit out that I decided, you know what, I'm going to scrap it, and I will just record the last weekend of the month and post like I had been. I kind of got a little off because I missed posting June on time, so June was late, and I couldn't get July done in time, so July was going to be late, and everything was a mess. So it's like, you know what, I don't need this stress in my life. I do this because it's fun. So I just decided to scrap the whole thing, and I figured I'll just, when it last weekend of August comes, I'll just get back on my normal schedule and it'll be fine. I hope nobody was extremely disappointed. Hopefully you guys could wait it out, you know. But my other FO, I had to mail away, so I don't have it anymore. I still have my footage that I had recorded, so I am going to pop in the recorded video of my other FO. It was the All Points South by Casapinka, and I used Dream and Color yarn, so I'm going to start that right now. This has been the other thing I've been working on. This is Casapinka's All Points South. I don't want to really put it on here. It's like a cowl, shawl, poncho-y project. So, and this, I do want to do a disclaimer here. Dream in Color, if you guys follow them on Instagram, they were asking, they had a call out for sample knitters, and they would send you the yarn, their yarn, obviously. And then they would also send you yarn, and you know, you knit up their yarn, and I'm sending this back to her today, actually. And then they paid you in yarn for your time to knit this up. So it was really nice. I've never done sample knitting before. It's fun. This is Smooshy with Cashmere. So somebody gave me yarn so that I could knit with their cashmere yarn a Casapinka pattern, which I love Casapinka patterns. So, you know, it's kind of like someone paying me in chocolate to eat chocolate, like, or paying me in coffee to drink coffee. Like, oh, well, I mean, I guess if you have to, you know, how do you say no to that? I don't know. There was a pretty tight deadline, but it's not a big deal. I can sit and, you know, oh my gosh, it's tight deadline. I mean, it was one of those things where, oh honey, you're going to have to make dinner for the family because I have to knit tonight. This was such a win. On so many levels, this was such a win. I would love to do more sample knitting if this is what it's going to be like. Anyway, and what's nice about sample knitting is, you know, the pattern's tested. There's no, well, I was going to say there's no ripping back. There is ripping back if you're not paying attention, but there's no like pattern errors or anything that you have to watch out for. So anyway, this is Dream in Color, Smooshy with Cashmere. The dark is Torchwood. The peach is Peachy Keen, can't talk. And this gray is Unimagineable. And I did not pick these colors. They were picked by Dream in Color. They are so nice, by the way. I have a lot of Dream in Color yarn because my local yarn store, Simply Socks, had like Dream in Color at like in their sales section. I think they still do, but they keep getting like all these colors put in their sales section, and I kind of bought a lot, which I'm going to talk about later. But like, I love Dream in Color anyway, but I've never really, like, I just know that I like their colors. I didn't really know anything about them as a company or ever worked with them, but they are so nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, anyway, so Casapinka pattern. This is all point south. It's amazing. It's very potato chippy, where, you know, a couple of rows and you're changing color, you're changing pattern, but nothing so complicated that you don't, like, you know, you have it immediately memorized. So yeah, this is being sent back to Dream in Color, and I believe, they had there's a bunch of us knitting samples. I think they're going out to local yarn stores. So I've not, sucks, because like, I don't mind giving this away. Actually, I have no problem knitting with nice yarn and then giving away the project. That's not a problem. I do that a lot anyway. Like I'll put together yarn and a pattern, and I'm like, oh, this is so amazing, and then it's done and I really like it, but I know it's not something I'm gonna wear, so I just give it away. So like, having spent, you know, a couple weeks knitting this up and now giving it away does not bother me. It was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I don't know that I'm going to pursue sample knitting, but definitely if it just kind of falls in my lap where I see a call, I'll try. I'll put my name in the hat. So, hey guys, welcome back to, fast forward to today. Okay, so those are my only two FOs. And again, the one was kind of cheating, but I think it was worth showing it again so you guys could see the whole thing. And like I'm sure I just said, the All Point South, I mailed back to Dream in Color, and that was really fun to do a sample knit instead of a test knit. And I would definitely like do that again. That was fun. I don't know how much opportunity there is to do that, but it was fun, you know. Okay, so whips, what have I been working on? Well, let me show you some updates on projects that you guys have seen. Now, unfortunately, I moved like I said, I recorded a couple weeks ago and I moved the marker. So I know where it says I am is not really where I left off. Oh, and I'm right in the middle of a row. Look at that. Doesn't that look like a tangled mess? I just pulled the needle out. I did that. Okay, pause. Okay, so true story. I hate when I'm gonna podcast and I'm in the middle of a row. Not because it's harder to show it to the camera, but because of what just happened. I am so bad at just pulling my needles and thinking, oh, I'm just gonna pull a little bit to try and get it out just a little bit further. And then I yank the whole thing off. I am, okay, if you're new, just so you know, the Hot Mess Express lives here. We're besties. And we get into a lot of trouble together. So if you're looking for the Hot Mess Express, you found her. Anyway. All right. This is my Bumblebee Shawl. Let's see if I can get it out here. This is my Bumblebee Shawl. I'm about to lose my needle again. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a good day. That's what my husband and I say when lots of things like just seem to be going wrong. We just look at each other and smile and we're like, it's going to be a good day. It usually is then. All right. So with my last episode, I believe I was right at the beginning of the color change and I've knit maybe an inch and a quarter now. So, and it looks like I've already put a couple of rows on since in the last couple of weeks. I've been in my car a lot lately. This is my car knitting, lives in my car. I put on stitches here and there just whenever I'm waiting. If I am going to waiting rooms, if my husband's driving something, you know, if he's driving us somewhere, this is what I knit on. So I've had actually a little bit of car time in the last couple of weeks. So this is by Verena Cohrs. It is a paid for pattern and I am using, this is Madelinetosh Fragile in, oh, it's Merino Light or BFL Light. BFL Light. There we go. It's actually left. I made a sweater out of this, and so I'm using the leftovers to make this shawl. And then this purple is a LindenWool. Whoops. And I'm actually going to be adding a section to my shop called Woolsies Whoopsies in the next couple of weeks, where some of my whoopsie skeins are going to be there at a discount. So not these, because I really am upset with this color. So anyway, so I try to keep my yarn prices very reasonable, but those whoopsie skeins will be at a discount. And yeah, mainly it's colorways gone wrong, you know, like, hey, I think I remember how to do this, and then, you know, repeat this colorway and I do, I'm like, oh, that's not what I did, you know. Anyway, so the Bumblebee Shawl lives in my bird legs bags, one of my favorite ones. This has been through the ringer too, and it's still my favorite. I love the colors, I love the size, and it's got a little bit of interfacing in it, but like a really lightweight interfacing in it. So it's not, it doesn't, I mean, it can kind of stand up on its own, but it also squishes very quickly too. I think I've washed it once and that might have helped with some of the squishiness. Anyway, what else do we have an update on? Let's see. Oh, all right. This is my Baltian. Now, my last episode, I went through like how this was really a hot mess. I was like all the way done with the pattern except for 2 inches of ribbing, and it was right below my bust line. And it's like, that's not a good look for me, you know, at least in my own head. It's not something I would want to wear. I did look up other projects, and several people had notes about how they added length. So this is where I'm at now, which it's much more substantial. So I added several inches to the arm, which I had already made it larger than what she had called for. And, you know, she puts in the pattern, you know, feel free to add length here. So I did. So I added a lot more length to the armholes to make them baggier. Then I've added, I don't know, whatever this is. It looks like 6 inches. Let's check. Okay, raise your hand if you just said that's what she said. Just saying. I have those friends. that what she said, friends? I have those friends. All right. Oh, dude. Actually, it's 8 inches. So there's not really supposed to be any length underneath the sleeves, but I added 8 inches because I have a very long torso and I need to accommodate the additional length in my torso. So this is much more substantial now, and I have just started the decreases. I am decreasing every other round. That was one of the tips. One of the tips was add length after the sleeve. Another tip was do a decrease, do an every other row decrease. And that's what I decided to do as well, to continue adding length for my freakishly long torso. So yeah, I'm still loving this color work. I used an alpaca blend. I don't know, Surrey alpaca. What? Oh my gosh. We're gonna have a good day. Okay, so I used a Surrey alpaca for my contrast color. And this is La Bien-Aimée Peche Mignon. Yeah, I did go ahead and buy some extra skeins once I realized I was gonna be adding quite a bit of length to this. I definitely could have gotten away with what I had in stash. Until, you know, this was all going on. This has been very slow going because there are hundreds of stitches on these needles. So like every row is just a slow row. And then on top of that, like every couple of inches, I'm trying this on again. Like, okay, are we done yet? No. Are we done yet? Like, I feel like the 4-year-old, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's like, nope, nope. And I had to really like slow myself down because it's like, do not rush this. Do not get tired of this project and just say, okay, yeah, we're there yet. Because if we're not, I'm just going to have to rip it all out again to add more length. So I've been really trying to slow myself down and have some patience. But it is pretty and it's been worth it. I did not mind frogging, or I guess it's not really frogging, ripping back what I had done. And I ripped back several inches. It sucked. But I got it all done and I've put quite a bit more onto this. So it's been slow going, but I am working on it. I'm excited to be at the decreases. I'm a little nervous that maybe I didn't do it quite as long as I should have, but I know I can, there's other places, like in going through the notes on the pattern and Ravelry, there are other places where I can still sneak in a little bit extra length if I need to. So the majority of the length is now there. I'm slowing those decreases down, and there's still a couple other areas I can still add length if I need to. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable where this is. This is in my Molly Klein bag, and Molly Klein Designs. She is so nice. Oh my gosh. Like if you just like to have like nice things pop into your Instagram feed, I would follow her. She is just nice, you know. Like I mean, I'll be scrolling and she'll just have something. She'll just have like, you know, I'm eating my hair. Squirrel. She'll have very positive messages or whatnot in her Instagram feed. It's just, it's a pleasure to follow her. She makes bags. She also dyes yarn, but she's more famous for her bags. I think she started in bags and then she, added dyeing yarn, and her yarn label is Sweet Tea Fibers, I believe. I'll put a link in the bottom, but she, upcycled one of her husband's shirts into a bag, and she did like a couple of these. And as soon as I saw this one, I had to snag it because my dad had a shirt just like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that shirt, you know, and it's got like a little hint. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little hint of a pocket. You know, there's a pocket right there. So, and I love the buttons, you know. So yeah, anyway, this is a Molly Klein design bag, and it's big, which I needed because that Baltian, I am on my 3rd and 4th skein. I'm doing the helix knitting. where, you know, I don't know what this is. I'm doing the helix knitting where I'm alternating skeins every row. So I needed a larger bag for this project, and this definitely fit the bill. So that is where my Baltian sweater is at. Okay, so this is what I lovingly call my 50-year blanket. And that's because I figure it's not going to be done for 50 years. And I don't even care. I don't care if this is never done. What I love about this is that I have a stash of little mini cakes, leftover cakes, mini skeins that I just don't know what else to do with. And they live in this bag. And the needle lives in the bag, and the scissors live in the bag, and I'm not allowed to, I have set rules with myself. I am not allowed to steal these things from this bag. Like, this is not touchable, you know? So that whenever I really need to, and I need to knit on something, and I need to knit on something right away. And this is where knitting kind of is my therapy, where I've just got, I just like that jittery feeling. I reach for this bag, and I already have the yarn. I've already got the needles. I've already got the project. I don't have to think at all. And I work on this project. So it doesn't even have to be like a bad day or something. I mean, it's just whatever's going on. I always have this project to turn to, and I love that. And so I don't want it to ever be done because it's nice to have. So I added 3 squares. What squares did I add? I know I added the orange. I obviously added the blue. I believe I added the green. So I just added 3 squares. We did a road trip up to Lake Michigan, and it took about 2 hours to get there. We were there all day. It was great. And then 2 hours to get home. So I did 2 of these on the drive and 1 off and on throughout the day. We'd get in the water, and then I just wanted to be in the shade for a little bit, do a row or 2, and then go back in the water, sit back in the shade, do a row or 2. So I ended up doing 3 squares on this, but yeah, I think a lot of people, not everybody obviously, but I think a lot of people have, they call it like a cozy memory blanket or something, or a sock memory blanket. It is all sock yarn. It's all scraps either from my stash. Sometimes someone in my knitting group will give me their scraps to just add to this blanket. And I mean, I'm never going to run out of scraps. It'll be fine. But yeah, it's not overly large. I might go a year before I put another, you know, sometimes it sits for a year between adding squares or whatnot, but it's always there. And yeah, so I call it my 50-year blanket because it'll be 50 years before this thing is ever done. And I'm okay with it. I'm 100% okay with it. But I did add 3 squares, so that was nice. And one day, like a little road trip, done. I did cast this on. Whew. Look at that. We're so close to losing stitches here. All right, ooh, and we're ready for a larger cord. I just switched to the cord. That's what's great though about top-down raglan. I feel like it grows really fast. Anyway, I definitely need a bigger cord here. This, let me see if I can find the pattern side. There we go. This is the Stardust sweater, which I guess top down, so I guess it goes this way, that I've started. This is in Madelinetosh. This is their worsted, the vintage worsted base. This is the Patagonia colorway, and I'm knitting the Stardust sweater by Dragon Horde Yarn, Trysten. It's one of Trysten's patterns. I've got my little skull. He doesn't want to turn. He's shy. He doesn't want to face you guys. But my little skull, and then my pecan pie. Skulls came from Simply Socks, one of her, she does like little, did it come from a yarn club or just a kit? I don't know. It was from Simply Socks, one of her yarn kits or yarn clubs. And I don't remember where I got this from, but I get stuff from her all the time, and I'm going to link her because y'all, look at that pecan pie. Can you see it? No, it doesn't want to focus. It's amazing. It's like a whole bunch of tiny pecans. Like the detail is just crazy. And I love pecan pie. So anyway, this is Stardust sweater by Trysten of Dragon Horde. And I'm knitting it in Madelinetosh vintage worsted. It's growing very, very fast. Like I said, I just switched the cord, knit like another inch, and I'm ready to switch the cord again. Also about to pull out my needle again. So like, it's very scrunched. So I need to get a longer cord on this and carry away. But I am in a major cast on mood. Oh my gosh. Like, let's start all the projects. And if we finish them, we finish them. And if we don't, that's okay. That is the mood I am in, and I say go for it. It is living in my fringe supply company, the Fringe Field Bag Blue. I believe you can now order kits and make these yourself. So that's kind of cool. I can link that below if anybody is interested in that. So this is, look at that, not knitting, but it's about knitted things. This is an embroidery kit by Knitted Bliss, and she's got a couple different ones. Like there's one where it's all yarn balls. There's one where there's a girl in a sweater. God, she's got a handful of them, and they're the entire kit. So it's the hoop, it's the fabric, and the fabric is pre-printed with everything on it. It's all of the yarn that you need, needles, a needle minder. And I believe I bought this maybe in January, knowing it was probably going to be summertime before I started it, but it was so cute. I didn't want to wait, you know. And I believe she has since switched it up so that you also have, oh, what's the word? The little cards that you wrap your floss around so that it doesn't get tangled. Oh my gosh. I have no idea what it's called. But anyway, I think she's upgraded these to include other little tools that might be needed to make your life easier, especially if you're a beginner embroiderer like I am. I am not, like knitting, I'm kind of at the point where if I have a sweater I'm knitting and it doesn't fit me, I can figure out a modification kind of on the fly. It seems in my head like it would be easy to do that with this too. Like if you want to modify it on the fly, yeah, go ahead. I am not there with embroidery. I just want to follow the rules. I want to follow the pattern. But I'm having fun with it, you know, like she tells you what to do and I do it and it looks nice. So I've done, like I added little baubles here. So the hat, I've got to do the outline yet. So the hat I've started, and I started a cuff here, and I just kind of jump around. Like, I don't know, what color do I want to knit with now? And I do, and I'm sure there's like an embroidery rule where you are supposed to start in one spot, and maybe you're supposed to do all of the color. I don't know. That's what makes me a beginner. Don't take any how-to embroidery advice from Lindsay. But this is great for a beginner because I don't think you can screw it up. You know, I mean, I don't want to say it's easy peasy because I do have to go to YouTube to remind myself how to do some of the stitches. And some of the stitches I thought I knew how to do. I'm like, I'm not going to look that up. I know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. But it's okay because you can't tell that I screwed it up. So anyway, I'm working on this. With that, I do have something I'm going to tell you guys because I notice when I say something here, I tend to hold myself accountable a lot better. I am going to try to not buy any more yarn until the end of the year. So no more yarn for 2021. We'll see what 2022 has. And I have done the yarn diet thing before. And sometimes I have done really well. I went an entire year where I went into the year knowing I was going to buy a sweater quantity and Malabrigo Rios as soon as my local yarn store got their next shipment, because there was a particular color I wanted, and I wanted to make a very particular sweater. So I knew going into the year, hey, I want this, and I was going to buy an advent calendar. So, and I want the whole year. That's all I bought, and it was amazing, and I really got into my stash. I've been on a yarn diet since then. It did not go that well. I think the very next year, I thought, oh, okay, I did so well, I'm going to do it again. And it didn't happen, you know. And I love supporting small businesses, small yarn dyers, larger, hand dyers. And I am not in any way not wanting to support them. I just have so much. And that's kind of why I do the attitude of gratitude. That's why I started it, was to remind myself, hey, you have amazing yarn here. Let's use it up, So, man, and so if I'm going to be honest, like, why not, right? Confessional time. I actually put this in my last podcast, and one thing that kind of made me hesitant from posting it was after I've recorded, I got on Instagram, and a dyer I'd never heard of posted their inspirational photo for their advent yarn. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those are my colors. Oh my gosh. Because if you're new here, you wouldn't know this, but if you're a woolsy, you'll know that out of my advent yarn, I make the pin loom blankets. And when I saw this yarn, I thought that is going to make the most amazing pin loom blanket. I am beside myself, and I wanted to buy it, but I had just recorded a podcast saying I wasn't going to buy any more yarn. So I thought, okay, either I need to not post this until after I buy the yarn, or I'm going to post this and just be a lying liar that lies. So what I did was not post the episode, and I didn't buy the yarn. Oh, it's still like, I feel it in my gut. Oh, because it's, like when I see advent calendar inspiration photos, my mind immediately goes to, what's that going to look like on a pin loom blanket? And this girl, I actually don't remember her name now, but I'm going to post her down below because she deserves a shout out. And I think I purposefully wiped her from my memory so that I don't keep going to her shop, because I did a couple of times, like, trying. Like, her advent calendar was even in my cart a couple of times. And I don't even know if any are available anymore, because I know she only had a certain number of slots open. But I certainly don't mind giving her a shout out for nearly making me like just throw this whole idea of not buying yarn anymore in 2021 completely out the window. But I held firm. I already have a yarn advent calendar for this year, because what I did in January, I have minis from different like test dyeing that I do for LindenWool. And I have several minis actually. And sometimes if you buy, yarn from my shop, I might, if I know of a mini that looks really good with that yarn, I'll just throw it in, because what else am I going to do with these test minis? I have them, and they're kind of fun. And, sometimes I use them for different things. Well, I had accumulated quite a few. So I put together my own yarn advent calendar, which I don't then have to pay for. And it's sitting it's like sitting ready to go. It's ready for December. I don't need to buy one. It's just, oh my goodness, there's so many amazing artists out there. It's so hard to just be like, no, somebody else can enjoy it. I don't need to have it all right here, even though I know I'm all the yarn, because I love it all, So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Like I said, I'm saying it here. You guys heard it first. We're going to try and not buy any more yarn through the end of the year. So what are we talking about? We're talking like basically 4 months. 4 months. So I might have to record like we'll see. I kind of want to record a little bit more often, just for little spots, like little yarn highlights of my own stash to kind of remind myself. hey, you really, I've got a great stash. I've got some amazing dyers, you know, represented in it. I just got to knit it up. So yeah. Attitude of gratitude right here. Just being grateful for what I have and not feeling like I need everything that's available out there. You know? Oh my gosh. FOMO is real. Okay. So attitude of gratitude. This is the bulk actually of my DK stash. DK is one of the, it's a weight of yarn. I actually don't have a lot of. The majority of my yarn is fingering weight. I love fingering weight sweaters. I do have some sport weight and some worsted. I don't do a lot with DK. I don't know why, because it certainly knits up faster than fingering. But anyway, this is my DK. And this is my signature color. Just that really, really soft aqua. You know, is it aqua? Is it like turquoise? It just kind of hovers right in the middle of the two colors. I love that. And this is Mineville. It is kind of a discount yarn. I know you can get it from different local yarn stores. Mine carries it in different batches, and it's not something that's always there because I think it's like a mill end or something. But all of a sudden, you know, Allison at Simply Socks will be like, oh, hey, I've got a batch of DK coming, or I've got a batch of fingering coming, or whatnot. But I like it because it's very affordable. And this is like 150 grams, I think. Oh, no, 225 grams. So it's like a big skein of yarn. If you ever try Mineville, what you need to know is that it grows when it gets wet. If you guys watch Chevy from Chevy Rel's Stuff podcast, she knit something out of Mineville, and the whole time, you know, she's saying how her friends told her, go down a size, go down a size, go down a size. And she's like, oh, I hope I can trust you guys. And then once she blocked it, it fit, you know, and that's like what you got to know going into this, that it grows. I knit the first sweater I knit out of this. I mean, it was huge. So then the next sweater, I went down a size, and when I blocked it, it became a dress. And I'm not even kidding. Like it covers my booty. It is so, and it's not meant to, you know, it's meant to just be a regular sweater, but it is a full on tunic, you know, because it just grows that much. So there's a sweater where, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, where designers, they'll have like, you know, say like 3-inch jumps in their sizes. And then all of a sudden there's like an 8-inch jump somewhere. And in this particular sweater that I'm kind of looking at doing, it was 3-inch jumps. And then it went from a 40-inch sweater to a 48-inch sweater. Like that was the difference between the two, you know, the sizes. And I'm like, I kind of like to be right in the middle of that. I don't like the idea of the amount of ease in a 48-inch sweater, but I don't think the 40-inch is going to work either. So at that time, it's a DK weight sweater. At that time, Allison had just posted that, hey, I've got some DK Mineville in the store. I thought, oh, this will be perfect because I'll do the smaller size, knowing it's going to block to the size that I actually want. So I was very excited about this. And so I don't know if I'm going to knit that sweater yet this year. I kind of have plans. I have enough plans to like last me the next 6 months of the things I want to cast on right now. This is like in the list that's right after that list. So it's probably not going to happen this year, but that I know exactly what I want to make with this sweater. Excuse me. I know exactly what I know. Hi, my name's Lindsay. I've never done this before. Okay, so I do know exactly what I want this to be. I just don't know when it's going to happen. And it's stuff like that it's like, oh my gosh, stop buying yarn and knit up some of this stuff, you know? So yeah, that's kind of the deal here. And I've got like, gosh, I got another sweater quantity of Mineville. And what's great about when it's these massive skeins, like I just need like 2 to get a sweater quantity. So that's kind of nice, you know. but I know exactly what sweater this is going to be as well. Same thing. I know what size I'm going to make. I know it's going to be smaller because it's the Mineville. Mineville grows. If it's a Mineville single ply, it does not grow as much. But the Mineville plied yarn, it just very quickly. Like, it's crazy how quickly it just, yeah. Anyway, so right there, folks, 2 sweater quantities. It's so soft. It's so soft. It's 2 sweater quantities, yarn that I love. Can't even get to those sweaters probably in the next 6 months because I already have other things that I plan on knitting. So, yeah. If you ever follow like my my stories, like when I see, oh my gosh, look at what this dyer just made, I try to add them to my stories, sometimes to my feed or whatnot, to give them shout outs, because it's like, well, Lindsay can't support all of the different businesses out there, you know, monetarily. But I can certainly give them a megaphone, you know, so that maybe somebody else is looking for that exact same color right now. Hey, there you go. You've got it, you know. So I'm still planning on supporting small businesses. I love a good small business. But, you know, maybe a little more through shout outs or whatnot than adding them to my stash. For 4 months. Just time for it. 4 months. That's it. Just 4. Surely I can do this. I don't know. All right. Well, that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're still around, please feel free to like or subscribe, add a comment below. Let me know what you're knitting on. And I will see you in about a month. Take care and make good decisions. Bye.